It's Mark Ryan here with Easy 8A. I've been getting a lot of questions over the last week and a half. What's going on with the 8A program? So it's August 2nd, 2023 right now. The Federal District Court of the Eastern District of Tennessee issued a ruling about a week and a half ago saying that the SBA can no longer use the rebuttable presumption of social disadvantage in the 8A program. And as of last Wednesday or Thursday, the SBA has shut down the application process. They're not accepting new apps. They're not processing apps that they already have in in their queue, and they're no longer processing renewals for people that are in the program. Ultimately, what the decision means is that going forward, everybody's going to have to do a narrative, whether you are in a presumed group or not. So if you're Hispanic American, for example, in the past you didn't have to do a narrative, now you will have to. The SBA is certainly going to appeal this, so this is not the end of this. Who knows what will happen over the next 6 months or year as the SBA goes to the 6th district for that appeal. But what I expect to see is that we're going to be required to do narratives on all new applications, even the ones that are already in process. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we have to add narratives to firms' annual renewals. Who knows? That they could easily say that we're grandfathered in and not do that. Either way, we're going to see narratives, until this appeal happens, and based on the appeal, we may still need narratives. So, what does that mean going forward? One of two things. Historically, the first 10 or 15 years I was doing applications, we did narratives for everybody, so it's kind of back to the norm. We only haven't been doing narratives since about 15 or 16, so this last 7 or 8 years have we had this group. If you're a white woman, for example, or Middle Eastern American service disabled veteran, where you have to do narratives. So for the last 8 years now, we've only been doing narratives for those groups. We're going to go back to the old, but in the past they didn't evaluate them the same. If you were a presumed group applicant, that narrative wasn't scrutinized as heavily as it was for those non-presumed group applicants. I believe we're going to see a consistent standard going forward. So what will probably happen is you're going to see the same standard applied to all narratives, meaning that white women, Middle Eastern Americans, service disabled veterans will probably have an easier time meeting the standards of the narrative and getting into the program. Of course, it could be the opposite, where the presumed group applicants are now held to a higher standard similar to the non-presumed groups, but that wouldn't be really consistent with the goals of the program. So I don't see it going that way. Anyway, we'll give you updates as we see what happens. See ya.